time. Speaking of time, this Smile-A-Thon, my eyes will show it a little bit, has been quite an undertaking. I could not have done it by myself. I thank everyone here. If you think about what a smile really is, it's gratitude. And so I'd like to start off by saying I'm very grateful for the amazing inner team, the Smile-A-Thon team, and that's Brian Tarr who headed the Smile-A-Thon team. So give a shout out to him in the comments. We have Amy and Ann who are serving with him to make sure the communications went out. I know not everyone got the information as quick as they'd like it, or maybe there's even some questions, and hopefully those questions are being taken care of in the comments. But do know that every single person I'm mentioning right now is probably putting in pretty close to 20 hours of data to make this thing happen at the highest level with the most care and the most respect. And we have Faison, who is in Pakistan, who has done something we've never done before. We have always gone live to Facebook. We've never done live to YouTube. So that was an undertaking. And we're learning so much from this event. First of all, just the rewards of going where you've never gone before, playing bigger than you thought you could. So that is the inner Smile-A-Thon team. Then we have the Perfect Publishing team that all rallied as well. I'd like to thank Al Granger and Dr. Michelle Mraz, Ed Caldwell, Robert Brunet, Dakota, and Daniel. We have 12 people on the team. Some of them are on the Smile-A-Thon team. But if I've missed you by any chance, first of all, you make such a difference, and we have so many people that are going to be speaking that are on this are on the team that are authors and speaking. So I want to just take a second before we go to our first speaker and just share a little bit of my background and why the card meant so much to me. So this card did not happen as soon as I would have liked it. First of all, as you may have heard from Gordon speaking, we had and you can go ahead and do video off, Rosemary. Gordon has. It's okay. It's okay. And if you would hold off from letting people in while people are speaking, it'll probably avoid those type of awkward situations. They can hold. They can hold patiently. So at age 18, I decided music was my love, and I was addicted to it. I worked 3 jobs. I bought music with all the money I could get my hands on, and amassed quite a collection. I was invited to parties because of my music collection. They said, "Hey, we'd love to have you come to the party. Bring your music with you." And I realized that they were really just inviting the music. So I became a DJ and met the young man Gordon when we were 18. We've been partners for, like I said, 45, 46, 47 years, something like that. But around 2005, my mom was diagnosed with dementia, and my dad decided he was going to take a leave of absence from the military and be a caregiver, very much Notebook style. I mean, if you watch the Notebook and you watch my mom and dad's life, you would see quite a few similarities. I looked at this as 2 opportunities. Opportunity one was that my dad and I didn't always see eye to eye, and he certainly did not understand the entrepreneurial spirit. And so I thought this would be a chance for me to show him I love him and to support him. And the second was to thank my mom for all the amazing things that she had done for me as a cheerleader. And every failure I had, every crazy idea I had, she always was an eternal optimist and said, "You can do it." And so I would go and either fail again or I'd finally succeed. But she taught me that it's okay to fail, it's okay to play big. And she also taught me a lot of things that Barry is all about, which is that I loved it when she says, "Look for the good in people and you'll find it." And that was a very big gift she gave me at around age 13 or 14. And when I got that gift, I started seeing humanity as beautiful. And for that young age, I think that was the biggest gift she gave me. The other gift she gave me, which is when I exercise very regularly, including today, with people calling and saying, "I'm sorry, I can't make it," or "things have changed," and etc., is that everyone's doing the best they can. And when you look at humanity as they're doing the best they can, you're you are grace and you are love, and you're also extending the friendship, and you're causing no judgment. So I want to thank my mom for those 2 gifts. She did pass in 2008, and when she passed, I decided I was not going to be a DJ anymore. I was going to find a purpose-driven life and serve as a Christian. And so God told me to buy some cameras, and I bought 2 extremely expensive cameras with credit cards. It was not $25,000 I had in my back pocket. So I fortunately had some pretty good credit, bought some cameras, and I was messaged that I should look for the good in the world, take pictures of it, and show it on social media, and let the world know that there's a lot of good things, a lot of good hope, a lot of good people, a lot of good messages. So I was hoping to do 365 events my first year that I got the cameras, and I ended up doing 333. I think it was all threes. And the way I did that was I went to two or three events in a day, or I went to two events, one in the morning, one in the evening. But what happened was I started getting a really large following. I had something like 30 some thousand people following my Facebook page. And I wasn't making a dime doing it, but I was starting to become the person you asked to come to a DC or DMV, as it's called, the DC, Maryland, Virginia geography. And so uh, those events attract a lot of photographers, and those photographers allowed us to actually turn into almost a SWAT experience. So I would go in first and do an hour, then someone else would come in and do an hour, and then someone else would go in and do an hour. So we were stacking hours, but we were coming back to our houses, our studios, and post producing the photos, getting them up the next day. And with all this activity, 30 to 40,000 people coming to our page a day, we started becoming a PR company and a media company called the Umbrella Syndicate. And we wore a hat with a symbol, and on all 700 of the books that we have, that symbol is right in the middle. So Perfect Publishing may be a publishing company, but without the motor behind it, the media company, it's not a marketing company, and that's why we combine the two brands together. So I started getting invited to events that I just was pinching myself, like, how is this possible? And like, I could go to an event and there'd be 50 senators at the event. I could be called and said, hey, we want to address veteran homelessness for women. Would you please go to the White House with us? And so I was in the White House 4 times in the first 6 months of having these cameras. And just for just for clarity, I'm not a photographer. A lot of people, they see the camera on my shoulder and they do their detective work, and they see that camera and they say, I know what you are. You're a photographer. I go, wow, really? So that's how you got it, huh? So I am a person that captures beauty. I am an artist. I am a person that loves the human spirit, and I love seeing the beauty of the human and taking that picture. And if anyone's ever seen me take pictures, I do not take pictures. I see what I love or what I am inspired by, and I just lift the camera and I shoot. And I say that this is the finger God is helping push that beautiful picture, because I don't know how I do it. So those photos turned into a little bit of hostility. I was not really well liked in the DC, Maryland area in the photography scene, because I was disrupting it. I was doing photos that went viral. They were being done the next day, and I was being invited to the biggest events. And so I guess it was a blessing, like everything can be. My mom obviously passing wasn't a blessing that I wanted, but it was the blessing that she gave me of how precious life is. And and getting that message of how precious life is, I will say that I started taking action about things I say. And one of the things I said for 25 years is, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book one day. And that day went to years, to decades, and it never was going to happen. And I'm pretty clear that if my mom did not get dementia or Alzheimer's, I never would have written that book. I would not have learned any of the stuff I've learned in doing a book. And I'm going to show you my 60th book in a couple minutes, but I do want to say that the cameras not being welcome in the DC, Maryland area, and in fact almost being threatened by, or I should say, event planners were being threatened by photographers if I would hire or let the Umbrella Syndicate in, and we had about 12 people working with us, that they would remove the relationship with that event planner. So the event planners started calling me and saying, hey, my hands are tied. I can't invite you, or I'm going to lose relationships. So the blessing in this was that I had to think bigger. And so I started looking at national events. And when I looked at national events, it was very interesting. National does not have a competitive spirit. They look at another photographer as, oh, you're national too, or you're international. And so I got a lot of brothers and sisters in the national photography and video scene. And I look at them as an extension of what I'm trying to do, which is to capture goodness, to show there's hope, to show that there's a lot of beauty in the world. So that said, I would like to show a book called My First 60 Years. For any of you that would like this book, I'm happy to give any book that I've made, published digitally as a thank you for just being here and watching this show. But a couple of things about this book. First of all, I want to declare that I got a ribbon for having under 1 billion sold. So I don't know if I'm first to achieve this, but I did get the gold ribbon for having under 1 billion sold. And this is the third edition. And the philosophy of perfect publishing is it's better to get a book done than not have a book at all. So we did my first book at my 60th birthday, and it was probably 1/3 as good as this book here. And I'm not just dividing it by three. It really was sparse and not full of all the content that it has right now. And then that little gold seal right there, it says AI free, made by a human for humans. So every book I've ever done has been written by me, my heart, my thoughts. If I can give any credit, it would be to God that He allows me downloads at 4 o'clock in the morning that create books like this. And the first page I have in this book is, I have but one life to give, so I will give my fullest. I hope to honor God. I hope I honor God with the precious gift that inspires those I've touched to smile more. And I'm not going to go through every single page of this book, but I do want to go through several pages just so you get a gist of the story. My son was, I guess, a product as an author of the second blessing, which would be the pandemic. Dad was on the road a lot, and I certainly didn't have time to ever teach him how to write a book. And we certainly read plenty of books, but we never had written a book together. And so when the pandemic happened, I lost 380 some events. I turned to my son and I said, "Hey, this is an opportunity for you to have your dad teach you science." I had taught physics and chemistry in my previous life. And so I taught him chemistry first. And then I said, "Hey, would you like to write a book?" And he said, "What would I write it on?" And I said, "Well, why don't you write a book about jokes? Everyone needs something to laugh about." So I'm going to read just the first part of this preface. And a preface is such a great opportunity for you to share with the reader the intimate thoughts you have of why you did the book. So I say here, I never knew I'd write and publish 60 books. I could blame my son, but instead I'll credit him. He told me on his 8th birthday, "Daddy, I just turned 8 years old. I have 6 books, and if I write 4 more books before I'm 10, I'll have 10 books on my 10th birthday." And so he kind of gave me a challenge that if I did the same, I would have 60 books. Well, the problem was when he said this 2 years earlier, I was about at least 12 books away from 60 books. So I didn't write my best books, but I did write books I enjoyed writing. So the next page is, I guess, related to that photography experience I had. And I've had that experience as a DJ too. We had 350 DJ companies in the Maryland, D.C. area. And we were, by Wedding Wire standards, for 20 years, the #1 DJ service. We had 45 guys working at Apps Entertainment, and we served roughly about 1,200 to 1,400 high-end weddings a year. So that said, be hated. One does not have to be evil to be hated. In fact, it is often the case that one is hated precisely because one is trying to do right by one's own convictions. It is far too easy to be liked. One merely has to be accommodating and hold no strong convictions. Then one will gravitate towards the center and settle into the average. That cannot be your role. There are a great many bad people in the world, and if you are not offending them, you must be bad yourself. Adrian Tan. I put this in here because I think that anyone that disrupts the world or confuses the world with a possibility that could be just glorious and uplifting, I think that there's people that misunderstand them and unfortunately choose to not embrace them or support them. And so I felt that, but I will say that I've also felt the equal side of people that encourage and support and make me feel like I'm doing the right thing. So with that said, I am going to thank Dr. Michelle Mraz. She made this GIF. I'd said this on a stage, and she says, "Let me make this for you." And this is one of the last things I'm going to show you in the book, which is the only 2 things you really need to do in life are, 1, prove the people who believed in you they were right, and 2, prove the people who didn't believe in you they were wrong. And I'm going to skip ahead. This is the foreword that Barry wrote to me, and these are some of the books that he had mentioned. All these books are available to you. And I will just share, this is the story that I'm kind of saying today a little deeper in the book. Life is a divine journey if you choose it. And here's my birthplace, Earth, my race, human, politics, freedom, and religion, love. And I wanted to show you a couple things that I thought were very important in this book, which is all the cards that came about from Barry Shore's sharing. This is some of the books, and these are some of the cards. So Barry Shore had most of these done in other languages. I took it upon myself to translate it into Australian. So those of you who don't speak Australian, you can say, "Keep smiling, mate," and they're going to understand you. For the Canadians, "Keep smiling, eh?" And then I also did on the next side, I did Jamaican, Keep Smiling Mon. And then when we did all the events in New York for the Jumbotron, we obviously had to make the inside dialect for English in the United States of America in New York. Hey, you, keep smiling. So these are some of the cards that we've given. And what is amazing about these cards is I have been to 104 countries and I choose the card of that country and I receive a very welcoming smile back and instant a feeling of just love, collaboration, and an extension of how can I help you in my country. So in about 15 minutes, we're going to be having Michael come on, but what I want to do is just take a chance and just show you guys if you ever want to do a smile book. We have over 300 smile books, and let me get the next one ready. I want to show you some of the themes we've created. All these smile books are available for you to have. So let me go to share screen, and there we go. So this is called Keep Smiling Covers. Let me get that up a little bigger, and then I think that might be too big. There we go. All right, so these are books that we have created with the Keep Smiling cards. The problem I was seeing when I would give the card to someone and they'd take these beautiful pictures is the life that the graphic life or the virtual life they had was about a day or two, and then they would disappear and they would never be seen again unless the memories brought you back to them and you reshared them. So I took it upon myself to start curating where these photos came from. So we made a book of people that I'd met that were from Africa or at the African embassies or that I had met in Africa. And the themes just kept going. So if you have a theme that you'd like to create, I know that Ophir is on the call right now, and he's making the Los Angeles Keep Smiling book. And for those of you who want to be at his book launch or want to support him, he'll be speaking later today about his gorgeous book I just received in the mail. And I want to show that off real quick. I'm not sure if Ophir's here to see this, but Daniel on our team made this gorgeous cover and he's going to be speaking later. But he's got a book launch, and then Beth Robbins has her book launch coming up in San Diego. So we have all kinds of just amazing opportunities for you to meet the speakers and the authors here. So if you think of a theme that you'd like to talk to me about, these are, and by the way, we'd like to represent 50 cities. We have, I would say, about 25 or 30 cities that we've made covers for, and the book has about 100 people in it to keep the theme. The digital copy can be hundreds and hundreds of pages, but the printed version is typically 100 of the people that they want to have in that printed version. And this is actually my 61st and 62nd book. So you saw the book I shared earlier. That was my first 60 years, inspired by my son saying, play bigger if you're 60 years old. Get going, write some more books. So 61 and 62. And by the way, if any of you would like to shave your head and get a photo with a Keep Smiling card, I am all about getting your photo and your smile. There is a bald day coming up. I think it's in September. And given the beauty of this particular event, I am actually considering doing a bald-a-thon. So we'll see if we'll see what happens with that. So we've honored different people. By the way, the 4 times I was invited into the White House, it was because of the demographic of African American women inviting me to help them, support them, promote them, and represent the message they had at the White House. I was able to meet Michelle Obama in one of those occasions, and I took a picture of her. So these are all just these are birthday books. My business partner, Dr. Michelle Mraz. If any of you are playing as a speaker, a queen, doing really powerful things and empowering things in the world, please get a copy of this. And if you'd like to be included in that book, you can reach out to Michelle or myself. We have just organizations, countries, cities. So this was during the pandemic. We have the COVID-19 color edition. And so every one of these covers and every one of these book projects really brought together a tribe. And for instance, this one right here, this is the Energy Science Technology Conference. I went to that for 6 years, gave them a gift of their 10-year anniversary of all the innovators, all the engineers, all the scientists that were creating new ways to make our world more efficient, leaving a smaller carbon imprint and saving lots of money, making the world cleaner. So there's just so much behind these people. Steve Farber has an amazing set of books about leadership. There's not one person here that has a cover and a name on the cover that I wouldn't be proud to host and have to dinner, and would recommend highly that you get to know them as well. This is funny. This is a person that thinks hugs is the way to go. So she has something about I hug, and I love that because a hug is a great thing to accompany a smile with. And then this is for the younger people. This is we had Dose of Hope, and Dose of Hope was back a ways. Let me see if I can get to Dose of Hope real quick. Dose of Hope was during the pandemic, and I was being asked by my landlord that I'd been renting from for 35 years that I was going to have to leave because I wasn't making my rent during that time. And so I reached out to people that I believed in, very much like the people on this call that are going to be speaking. I said, hey, listen, if you'd write a story about hope, I really would appreciate it. And they did. And I came up with this book in 2 weeks called Dose of Hope. It, without asking for a dime, it generated 2 times the amount of money I needed to give to the landlord. And that stopped me from being asked to leave my premise that I'd paid probably about $300,000 in rent to be at. So that was a miracle. And then there was something. There was Hope. Hope Dealers has not come out yet. So anyone that's kind of the Gandhi-esque Mother Teresa type of smiler, if you want to be sharing your story of hope, that's a great place to do it. Those Hope is Dope is really about cool people that are able to speak to adults, but they are also so cool they can speak to kids and they'll actually be heard. And this is about guiding kids to make better choices. So every one of these books has a story in it, and the story is kind of a TED talk about how that person created who they are, how they found their purpose, and how they use that purpose to make the world a better place. So I just can't speak highly enough about the people that I've been honored to that I've had the honor to meet, and also the privilege to publish. Here's William Paul Young, who wrote The Shack. Every one of these stories could be literally a TED talk by themselves. There's just so many amazing people that I have been fortunate enough to meet. So I would like to actually change this up a little bit. And Matt Fleming is actually going to be the next speaker. So he's here to speak in about 7 minutes. So, Michael, if you hear me, you were going to step in if Matt was not here in time. But Matt is going to go ahead and be our next speaker in 7 minutes. I'm going to open this up to questions. I am not looking at the comments. So if there are any comments of questions that you'd like to ask, I'll open up the comments right now. Hey, Matt, we're going to be on in about 7 minutes. So you can go video off for just another second. By the way, great haircut. Fantastic haircut. So if there's any questions that you have before I bring Matt on, I might bring him on earlier. And thank you, Maris, for thanking Faison. Faison has put in probably, it's a scary number, but I know that he only is waking up to work on this Smile-A-Thon, and then he would go back to sleep and wake up again and work on the Smile-A-Thon. He's been the reason the videos even exist. He's made the YouTube channel. He's made the 10 videos that exist. There are 50 videos of people that I have put in the realm of 365 heart-centered leaders. So any of you that have not been on my show, you are welcome to sign up to be on my show. It's called 12 to 120. We talk for 12 minutes to 120 minutes about what you're up to, how you've created epiphanies, how you've changed the world. And it's a free-flowing conversation. It's exciting to me because I go into the conversation as curious about the person as I imagine the audience is. Jim Britt's video just dropped today. Also, Janelle Harris from She Exists magazine dropped today. The first video we put up was Dan Clark, the #1 storyteller in the world. His video was 2 hours long, and people actually said I could not stop watching it, and they watched it all the way through. So we've been honored with some really, really powerful, amazing people. I would say almost every single person. I can't even think of one person that's on the speaking circuit that I wouldn't want to have on the Dr. Smiley show. So